there's not so much current development about Brexit at the moment, so your comments about the last weeks, that's what I want to talk about in this video. I'm Mark, greetings from Germany and welcome to my channel. If you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, click the little bell and the notifications so you won't miss my new Brexit videos in the future. As you probably know, there's not a big development in the negotiations between the EU and the UK about the future relationship because they only can negotiate via video conferences and they have bigger problems at the moment than that, I must say. So I took the chance because I have several channels and I can't answer every comment anymore. So I had a look at all the comments of the last weeks and I picked some and I'm going to give you a direct answer to it or a direct comment from my side. Let's start with an easy one. There is no Mark, your name is Euro. Yeah, well, besides the fact the joke is 18 years old, it doesn't even work with me. As you probably know, it only works for a Mark whose name is spelled with a K. Mine is spelled with a C. But let's get to the real ones now. The next one is a very recent one, and there's a lot about what the rest of Europe owes the UK for everything they did in all the wars and for Europe in the last 1,000 years. First of all, to this, the past is the past, and my generation has nothing to do with that past. We don't take any guilt for our great-grandfathers or even older times, and if you go back 1,000 times, there was a completely different Europe than today. And I don't want to go into all the historic facts about where France came from, where today's Germany came from, and so on and so on. That won't work. And it was also said that the UK is a prime founding member of the European family. The European family we have today is mostly the EU. Before the wars, before the EU, Europe looked completely different and the political situation in Europe looked completely different. So you can't compare it. And the major part of this comment is the UK is special in Europe and so should get special treatment. No, special treatment is reserved from the EU for the members of the EU. No third country will get a special treatment. The special treatment is for members only. And so the UK will get what they deserve. They deserve to get the same treatment as any other third country, and that is what they will get. I picked the next comment because it was quite fun after all the hundreds of comments I read before on this channel, because this one said, you sound as bad as the Brexit supporters. In the one video the last time I said something against the EU, obviously as soon as you say something against the EU, you are a Brexit supporter. That's real fun for me because usually most insults I get is I sound like a Remainer or something. I never was told that I sound like a Brexiteer. Either way, it's not completely correct anyway, whatever side you call me on. I am a supporter of the European Union, you know that, but that doesn't mean I can't criticize the EU. There's a lot to criticize about the EU and I will still do it, because only if the people inside the EU do criticize, we can get changes. And the next comment is, it said the UK was built on free trade, open market. Yeah, that might be very true. Was built on open market, is open on open market, but that is of no consequence for the EU. The EU is only an open market for the members of the EU. And the next part of this comment, Germany's manufacturing will lose out far more than the UK. I don't even think it would be in total numbers. And in percentage, if you have a look at this, only 6% of the exports of the EU go to the UK. But at the moment, 50% of the exports of the UK go to the EU. It's easier to find a new market for the products of the EU in the rest of the world than half of the products of the UK in the rest of the world, because the EU has tons of free trade agreement with the rest of the world. The UK had as long as it was a member of the EU and now doesn't have anymore. And all the promised free trade agreements Boris promised are not there yet. You still have to work on that. And until then, you will be in big trouble if we get a WTO Brexit in January to find a market for the 50% of the UK exports. And there was a question to me in another comment. Can you explain to UK why as a sovereign country we have still to abide by EU rules, etc., when other adjacent countries have normal trading deals, bearing in mind that we trade very little with you compared to what you trade with us? Once again, the amount of trade I commented on the last comment. And the point is, other countries who want a free trade agreement with the EU have to agree to these conditions or they don't get a free trade agreement. No one got a free trade agreement without conditions like Boris would like to have it. No one got this. Well, I have to change the last sentence a bit. Boris already stated several times he wants a Canada deal or Canada Plus deal or even Australia deal. I commented on Australia. So I have to probably say some of the Brexiteers want that, a free trade agreement without conditions, but that won't happen. Part of the next comment was, a deal with the EU is not the highest priority for the UK. So fine, if that is so, just keep on the negotiations like they are at the moment, that are going very slowly because of the situation. Wait until June, we won't have a result there. Don't extend, wait for a WTO Brexit in January and try afterwards on the long run to get any deals if it's not of a high priority. That's fine for me. In the next comment there's one thing I read very often and I really don't get it. UK don't like to be bullied by any countries or systems as the EU. Who is bullying the UK? The others set their red lines as the UK does. The mere fact that the UK is not getting what they want is not bullying, it's just reality. There is something on offer. You're not bullied into taking it. You are free to take it or leave it. Then there's a comment, and that is more adjacent to reality than many other comments I read. It may well end badly for one or both parties, but that's beside the point. So the first part of that sentence I completely agree with. It might end badly for both sides if there is a WTO Brexit, because both sides will lose a lot of money. It will be hard for the citizens who have to pay higher prices because of the tariffs, but because of that it can't be besides the point. That is the point why the EU is still negotiating with Boris Johnson, although you can believe me, a lot of people are annoyed by years and years and years of Brexit. And so it is done, so we can't change that. But if this ends with a no deal, I'm quite sure we all, on both sides, will soon regret that. Then there's one of the tales I heard several times now, which are quite interesting for a German to read that, because let me just read it first. Brexit supporters repeatedly tell me that the German car industry will beat a path to Angela Merkel's door and demand that the UK gets a favorable deal so they can sell their cars in the UK. No. First of all, they wouldn't even have to beat the path to Angela Merkel. She's talking to the heads of many kinds of economy in Germany regularly. Well, not now, she's in quarantine, but she still may be on the phone with them. But they would have access to her if they need that. It's registered in Germany, by the way, if lobbyists have access to the parliament. But they won't do that. The German car industry is more worried to keep the common market intact than their compared small market in the UK. And then another part of this comment is true. The UK is important, but in the big picture, it's not that important. Cars are often a topic in these comments, and there was another one I was really wondering what that was supposed to mean. When you take into account of how many of their cars we are forced to buy, who of you in the UK was forced to buy a German car? You could buy Japanese cars, you could buy American cars, you could buy Italian cars, whatever. Why were you forced to buy German cars? So no one was. There was no one standing with a gun behind your head, buy that car. But that was only one part of this comment. The other was, we do not need the EU, no part of it. We were a strong nation for a long time before any EU, and we will do the same again. First of all, in this case I have to remind you, why did the UK join the EU? It was because the economy was not at its best and it needed to join the EU, whatever they tell you. And it's true. The UK was strong in the past, but the world it was strong in, and I'm not even talking about the time when it was a real empire, the world it was strong in was a completely different world than today. It was not a globalized world with a strong China, etc. So we have a completely different situation nowadays than it was then. Then in one of my recent videos I talked about Barnier handing out his proposal before Boris did that. And I was hit very hard there. but I want to give you one of the answers to that video. Boris said he would provide legal text this week for the trade deal he had already outlined before the first meeting was held. If he had already outlined that one, why hasn't he published it on the Monday he wanted to? That was before the corona crisis. And still on that Monday he hasn't published it. So for that beating on that video, obviously you were wrong. Then I chose one because that comes up often about the intentions of the EU. Obviously the EU don't want a deal then. And there's some big misunderstanding, because not giving you everything you want is not wanting a deal at all. The EU wants a deal with the UK, but not for every price. They want a deal under certain conditions. If they can't have that, then they don't want it. That's true, but not generally. And another part of this comment, I've seen in several other comments as well. For example, our workers' rights are far superior to the EU's. If you really tell that to someone who worked in several EU countries and in the UK as I did, you really make me laugh. The workers' rights in the UK, if I compare them to the workers' rights in Germany, for example, they are not far superior. In Germany, it's not allowed to have 0-hour contracts. In Germany, it's not allowed to have a bunch of temp jobs. And all the regulations about unemployment aid and stuff like that are different, and from my point of view better in Germany, because if you get unemployed in the UK, you immediately get into unemployment aid level 2 compared to Germany, because we have 2 levels. One that is higher payments and so on if you worked for a certain time, and the second one if you haven't worked long enough or just started working and couldn't get a job or anything because you are at the young age where you have to start taking care of yourself. This second level is the lower level, but that is the same as you have in the UK, and so I really wouldn't say workers' rights in the UK are superior to the EU, just with these few examples from Germany, for example. Then of course there are some people who are glad that the UK is leaving, and I try to pick comments from different sides here. And it says, yes, you are gone. Now we can start the serious business of building a deeper union. And in the last sentence there is quite a lot of truth, because the UK for a long time was one of the reasons why there was no deeper development in the EU, because London often blocked these decisions. But that showed that the UK had influence in the EU and had enough influence to prevent everything they did not want. That influence is gone now, and we will see what happens now in the current situations where countries like Poland and Hungary are really abusing the situation to work on their justice system and stuff like that in a direction which is really not compatible with the EU. We will see what happens there. But if that can be stopped, if for example there are more democratic parties coming back in office someday, there might be deeper developments in the EU, but we will see. Then there's another comment with some content I really wonder about myself. I read this several times, not only on my videos, on videos from others as well. For England, that's fine. And someone of you commented that already on my videos. You're forgetting that there are supposed to be 4 nations in the UK when it's inconvenient. And that's true. I often really read at the moment, WTO is fine for England. You are 4 nations in the UK. Shouldn't you think about all 4 nations? 2 of these 4 nations voted to remain. Don't forget this, and you have to include them in all your decisions you're taking now. You have to take them with you into the new direction. Do you just want to ignore them? And that's something I really don't understand. Then I often read comments on Germany's future in the UK. Germany needs to escape too. Now, Germany benefits a lot from the EU. And I don't mean this financially only. Germany is the biggest net payer in the EU. And still, all the achievements we got from the EU, that we can work everywhere, that we can travel everywhere without borders and stuff like that, that is what German people, or the majority of German people, really appreciates. And all the polls in Germany for years show that it is a big majority. And then there's something, because the EU is always imagined as the dark, bad entity that wants to take control about everything. And it's like, I sometimes believe that people see the EU as Darth Sidious, because there are comments like this: the EU want to be masters in someone else's house. And that now under the topic of Brexit. No, they don't. They just say under what conditions they are going to have free trade with others. They don't try to be masters in the UK government, because that would mean they could force what they want on the UK. They can't, and because of that they won't. And just to emphasize this, nobody is forced to have free trade agreements with the EU. For those, there's WTO. But if you want free trade with the EU, there are conditions. But no one is forced, and the EU doesn't try to force it on anyone. It's just setting their red lines as the UK is setting their red lines. There's often mentioned that the US-UK trade deal will be much more important for the UK than a trade deal with the EU. And one time I was asked have you read the US proposal for the trade agreement with the UK? Yes, I did, and it's quite interesting. Sometime when this develops further, I will definitely make a video about this. But because that is really interesting what is in there, I suggest that you get it. It's on the internet, and read it. You might be surprised of the content. And there's another version of the talks about Germany. Let Germany fund this failed political nightmare, and the German taxpayers will soon vote to leave the EU. Germany already agreed to pay part of what the UK paid in the past. The budget is not finished yet, but they already agreed to that. And the people in Germany, or the majority of the people in Germany, doesn't even bother. As you heard in some comments already, there's a lot of talk about the UK's sovereignty. UK will not conform to EU regulations, etc., which conflict with our sovereignty, and the EU needs to respect that fact. We wish to be treated as any other non-EU country. First of all, the UK had sovereignty while it was an EU member. Every decision taken by the EU in the EU Council was agreed on by the UK government. The UK was a member of a council which required a unanimous vote. Without the consent of the UK government, nothing could have passed that council. And second of all, if the UK wasn't sovereign, why were they allowed to have the referendum and to leave? If they are not sovereign, they are not allowed to do that. And the part how the UK should be treated, will the UK be treated as any other non-EU country? Yeah, that's exactly what is happening now. The UK right now is being treated as any other non-EU country. Some of you seem to be surprised by that what happens now means to be treated like a non-EU country. Then I found another one of this EU dictatorship that goes to France. France has problems at home and is in no condition to dictate beyond, nor does the UK. No one dictates anything to the UK. Once again, the UK got an offer by the EU, and they can freely take it or leave it. They don't have to take it. So no one dictates anything. Then there's another comment I really didn't get. There is no such thing as a hard Brexit. A WTO Brexit is a hard Brexit. A WTO Brexit means the loss of money on both sides in their economy, and it means in the end loss of money for the citizens of the UK and the EU. Money will be wasted there, and that will also hit the citizens. Then there's another a little bit fun one, because it was written in quite a nice way. We should do a deal with Germany directly. We love the cars and you like our market. And he talked about that a friend just bought another BMW. Of course, we are glad when you like our cars. We do like your market, but a direct bilateral trade agreement between Germany and the UK is not allowed for EU members. And Germany is still a EU member and will still be a EU member. So that is definitely not possible. Then another of my viewers commented on the thing that many say the UK has to be treated specially, and that the EU should take in regard the needs of the UK. But then my viewer said, on a deal, EU will think what is good for EU And if it is not best for UK, so be it. EU will not drive their benefits like EU did when UK was one of the members. And that's true. Until the 31st of January, UK got a treatment as a member. Since then, the EU has to and will protect the interests of their members. And that is not the UK anymore. And the UK interests are not an issue for the EU anymore. They don't have to care, and they won't care if it's against EU interests. We often had the topic of banking and the City of London, of course. And someone answered on that in a comment. As for banking or trade up here, if you talk about both in one place, then it's London. EU does not have one place. First of all, the whole topic is, I don't know what to say. A third country's banking system can't be the prime banking hub for the EU. It can't be, it won't be, and so it doesn't matter if it's all in one place or like it will be in the future in two places. We have a digitalized world, so who cares about location? The importance of the location is the location must be inside the EU. And then there was another part in this comment that has nothing to do with banking, but I really had to bring that up. Did you know that even sanitation is better than EU's? UK does not just have a hole in the sidewalk. And that is something, you couldn't have picked a worse example for that. Because what I've seen in London when I've been living there, it was much dirtier in the streets, of course not in the tourist centers, but in many parts of London than I was used to in Germany. And I was really surprised about this, I didn't expect that. And even the part with just put the trash bags in front of your door, there were no trash bins to put them in where I was living. You just put your trash bags out and the whole street was full of trash bags for hours. That was really not a nice picture. And sometimes they didn't even pick that up and so on. And the cleaning of the streets was not, let's say, in the top 3. So that is really a bad example. I can't say what many other parts of the UK look like, of course. But in London, that was really no example for this expression. And just to emphasize this, that was in Tory times. WTO will bring tariffs. But obviously many haven't understood how that works with the tariffs. And that's why I picked this comment. UK could charge EU up to 10 billion per year in tariffs. No country is charging anyone with tariffs. The tariffs will be paid by the companies who want to bring their products into that country. And those tariffs will not be paid by any country then. The tariffs on the EU products delivered to the UK will be paid by many of my viewers because they will be paid by the people in the UK. They will just be added on the prices in the shops. And you will have to pay these tariffs. Then I talked about the always upcoming thing, the EU is not democratic, and I've got another one like this. I didn't vote for von der Leyen, nor did any other Brit, and we can't vote her out. Well, I didn't vote for von der Leyen either, I voted for her party. And the same goes for the people in Germany for their government, the same goes for the UK people for their government. You have not voted for Boris as Prime Minister. You only have voted for Boris as a member of parliament if you live in his constituency. I haven't voted for Angela Merkel as Chancellor. I have voted for her party, and Parliament elected her Chancellor. And you vote for your MPs and the parties they stand for. And whatever party can find a majority, the Queen will ask their leader to be Prime Minister. But you never voted for a Prime Minister. And it's almost the same with the EU. The EU, or the people in the EU, vote for a party. And the Parliament elects a candidate. In this case, the candidate is not picked by a party conference. This candidate is picked by the EU Council. There's a difference. But it's still a similar system. And you know that many companies are shifting offices from the UK already because they believe there will be a WTO Brexit. Or they need their offices inside the EU. But there's a fun comment there. So why are German companies relocating to the UK if we are doing so badly? Well, I never heard they do, and so I did some research. And the only mention I could find on that one was one British newspaper, The Express. They said German companies would do that. But it's the other way around. German companies are relocating their offices from the UK back to the EU. No company in Germany, for example, ever said they are even considering opening offices in the UK for a maybe UK-US trade deal. I talked about the UK sovereignty, but I just want to bring a comment from the other side. The last one was from a Brexiteer. This one is from a Remain supporter, I guess. Brexit in fact proves that the UK always had sovereignty. Otherwise, you would have had to ask permission to have the Brexit vote and then to leave. That's what I said earlier as the answer to one of these comments. The UK was a sovereign country. And of course, because they were sovereign, they could make the referendum. They could say they would leave. There is an article in the EU, Article 50, that says how you can leave. So you were sovereign all the time. There were a lot of talks about the divorce payment and about the payment for the transition period. WTO deal won't be that bad for our country. It means we won't have to pay the EU 11 billion pounds a year while in the transition phase, which is what the EU really want. No. The transition phase is almost over anyway, and if Boris sticks to that, what he said, he won't extend in July, and there won't be another year where you have to pay that. If you're out of transition, you're out of transition. And I don't believe that there, especially under the current situation, will be any deal at the end of June, and if there's no extension in July, January means WTO, then it's over. Now, a no deal in January is more probable than ever before if everything goes the way the people said. Of course, this is a different Brexit video than usual. I will get a lot of hits for what I said in this video, I know that already. But if you still want to watch more of these videos, I put you one on the end screen. I hope to see you there. Viel Spaß!